Welcome to The Explainer. I'm your Master Electrical Safety Inspector, and today we're diving deep into the absolute high-stakes world of the 309A Electrician exam. This isn't just some run-of-the-mill multiple-choice test, folks. No, this is the absolute gatekeeper to your electrical license. It literally separates the amateurs from the true professionals. The exam writers, they're master tradesmen themselves, and they design these questions to test not just your ability to read the Canadian Electrical Code, but your ability to critically apply it out in the field where real safety is on the line. Today we're going to look at one specific, highly engineered question that has honestly broken a lot of apprentices. Let's step right into the interrogation room.
All right, let's get this highly engineered question up here. I want you to read it with me exactly as it's going to appear on your screen on exam day. Given the following: Class 2 circuit, 4 No 16 AWG ELC conductors installed in EMT. Ambient temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. What is the maximum current carrying capacity of the conductors? Option A, 7 amps. Option B, 8 amps. Option C, 10 amps. Option D, 13 amps.
We're going to break down the code on this right now. If you want to get licensed, hit that like button and subscribe for more daily sample questions. Let's find the answer.
Okay, let's dive into this thing. When you're sitting in that exam chair, the clock is ticking, and anxiety is running high. The exam writers know this, and they've constructed this question literally like a minefield. To survive, you've got to calmly and methodically isolate your core suspects. First up, Class 2 circuit. Second, no 16 AWG ELC conductors. Third, 4 conductors installed in a raceway. And fourth, 40 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. Missing even one of these words, man, it's going to lead you straight into a trap. Every single piece of data here is relevant. There's absolutely no filler.
So, our first major clue is Class 2 circuit. That immediately steers us away from the general power tables and straight over to Table 57, which dictates allowable ampacities for Class 2 circuits. Now, look at the top row of this excerpt, because this is exactly where they hide the first trap. If you just scan down Table 57 to No 16 AWG and look at the absolute maximum base number without reading the context of the columns, you're going to see 13 amps. And wouldn't you know it, 13 amps is option D. That is trap number 1. It's placed there specifically for the rusher, the candidate who spots the first matching number and just moves on. Let's look at how this builds. On one side, we've got trap 1, selecting 13 amps by completely ignoring how many wires are actually in the pipe. But hey, let's say you're a bit more careful. You remember the fundamental rule of ampacity. Base tables are generally designed for not more than 3 insulated conductors in a raceway or cable. So you look at the proper column for 1 to 3 conductors and you see 10 amps for number 16 AWG. You look at your test screen, option C is 10 amps, and you click it. Well, unfortunately, you've just triggered trap number 2. You stopped investigating way too early.
So why on earth is 10 amps wrong? Because as a professional, your investigation doesn't just stop at the main grid of the table. You absolutely must direct your attention to the critical subnotes located directly below Table 57. The code is heavily reliant on these subnotes. Rule 404 tells us that when an insulated conductor carries current, its temperature increases. If you restrict heat dissipation by packing more wires into a single raceway like EMT, that heat compounds. Our question clearly states we have 4 conductors, and according to the subnote under Table 57, when you have 4 to 6 conductors, you gotta apply a correction factor of 0.8.
Now we're getting to the math. You take your base ampacity of 10 amps, and you multiply it by that 0.8 correction factor. 10 times 0.8 equals 8 amps. You look back at your exam screen, and what do you know? Option B is 8 amps. It feels like a hard-won victory, right? You apply the subnote, you did the math, you found the matching answer. But I gotta warn you, you've just fallen into trap number 3. The exam writers are seriously testing your endurance here. You missed the final piece of evidence.
We've got to pivot to our last keyword, 40 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. See, the standard base ampacity tables in the Canadian Electrical Code, they're almost all based on an ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. When the surrounding air is hotter, like 40 degrees, the wire simply cannot shed its internal heat as efficiently. This creates a severe fire hazard if that wire is loaded to its maximum normal capacity. To solve this, we must consult Table 5A, which gives us our temperature correction factors. Following the rules for our specific conductor type and temperature rating, we look at Table 5A, Column 2, and we find our essential temperature correction factor for 40 degrees, 0.88.
And this right here is exactly how a master inspector calculates capacity. We walk through the math deliberately, stacking our safety factors exactly like the code demands. Step 1. We pull the base ampacity from table 57 for our class 2 circuit, which gives us 10 amps. Step 2. We apply the conductor count correction for our 4 wires. 10 amps times 0.8 gives us 8 amps. Step 3. We apply our ambient temperature correction factor from table 5A. We take that 8 amps and we multiply it by 0.88. 8 times 0.88 gives us exactly 7.04 amps.
Before we reveal the final answer, I want to give you a pro tip from my years out there in the field inspecting electrical installations. Always read the subnotes at the bottom of the tables. Those fine details, the asterisks, the daggers, the tiny little text, that is exactly where the exam writers hide the real test. I mean, anyone can look up a number on a grid, right? But a licensed journeyman knows how to apply the mitigating factors that actually keep a building from burning down.
So here's your final verdict. We calculated a maximum safe capacity of exactly 7.04 amps. Looking at our options, we have to select the answer that does not exceed our maximum safe calculation. Because of that, 7 amps is the absolute only correct answer when all the code rules are applied. Options 13, 10, and 8, they were nothing more than psychological traps left for anyone who stopped reading the code too early. Option A is the answer.
Listen, don't leave your license to chance. For full 309A prep courses and literally hundreds of practice examples, head over to aver-.com. Get it done right the first time. I'll see you in the field.